Fiscal Court to order, and I'm going to ask Sam Phillips if he would lead us in prayer, and after that we'll have a pledge to the flag.
Gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we come today and ask for your blessing and your guidance in today's meeting. Ask that you give men here wisdom and discernment to conduct county's business. Ask that we pray for all those in governmental positions at the local, state, and national level. Pray for those who are first responders who take care of us. We pray for those who are in uniform now and those who are veterans. Ask that you look after those who are sick and needy, and ask that you forgive us for our sins in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all may notice we have an empty chair over here. Magistrate Poston's not just laying out on us. His wife's having a medical procedure today, and I would agree with him that it was best for him to be with her rather than be with us today. And so we hope things go well with Kathy too. Gentlemen, the minutes of our August 6th fiscal court meeting, we just need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty?
Second.
Second by Jeffrey. Any question, discussion, correction? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is, I know it's already a budget amendment here just a month in, but it's simple explanation here. But this is review, approve, first reading of fiscal year 24-25 budget amendment ordinance number 220.258. This is basically cleaning up some stuff from fiscal year 23-4 that carry over, like items from the DTL permitting software. Well, one is where we made the purchase for the permitting software, so we had to amend that in, our last meeting. Then the money where we approved the insurance buy downs, that $46,000 there, and then prior year surplus from the road department carrying over. So it's all money that as you close out the last fiscal year, moving into the new, you have to get it amended into the budget. Did I do a fairly good job explaining that?
Oh, good job.
Got some grants. So.
Yeah.
Good job. So moved.
All right, so we got a motion by Myron to approve the first reading of the budget ordinance.
Second.
Second by Marty. Pam will do a roll call on the ordinance.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Jeffrey Burr,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, gentlemen, is just to approve the Simpson County fiscal year 24-25 paving list. I'm assuming, Bobby, this is your recommendation for it. So you guys see that? We just need a motion and a second to approve the recommended paving list.
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeffrey and a second by Myron. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is the approval of a Public Works pickup purchase, and this was a budgeted item. We had two bidders on it. We got, I think, Bobby, you reviewed the bids. They were equal trucks, except one was a Ford, one was a Chevy. So depending on your brand loyalty, you might say one's better than the other, but equipment-wise, they were equipped the same.
The Chevrolet is actually a 25 model.
Oh, it's a 25. Okay. But the Ford truck, the bid on it was $49,000 even. The Chevrolet truck was $43,655.
Does the Chevrolet, another one, the Ford had didn't have the remote start. The Chevrolet had the remote start too.
They had everything.
Thing I had on my list.
Okay. And we're bidding on, you that was a bid for two of them, right? That's one?
Yeah, we're just getting one truck.
Okay. I'm trying to help you out.
I'm fine.
So, I mean, obviously, my recommendation would be that we would go with the $43,655 bid, but you guys have to make a motion one way or the
So
other.
moved, Mason.
With the Chevrolet truck at $43,655? Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so Myron's got a motion to purchase the Chevrolet truck at the $43,655. I just need a second.
Second.
Second by Marty. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, gentlemen, you see a bid advertisement there that we need to put out to approve the advertising bid for a Neely Road culvert replacement. We've had some issues with it. I don't know, Bobby, do you want to say anything to it or about it?
I can explain it.
Done it, can we do?
I mean, you can, if you want to make your way up here, I'll talk about what, there's some issues with it. The state bridge engineer has looked at it. His recommendation was that we put weight limits on the road and monitor it, because really the question was, at one point was, is this an emergency thing? Did we need to declare like an emergency and get started immediately? But he talked like weight limits and watching it and get the bid out. And
Yeah.
would be fine. But
He said for the size structure, that's what they would do, but, which I've actually shot some elevations on it so I can mark to be able to go back and check to see if it's changed any. So,
Have you talked to, I mean, I know Chuck Clemens probably, he farms. on
I've
that
called
road,
it, there's two others out there I haven't talked to that I'm gonna call today.
And they asked him to go out to 100
Yeah, I've
the other
already,
way.
garbage truck's not crossing, school bus doesn't cross it. I've talked to a couple of them, I'm gonna try to get hold of the others two today.
If we, I mean, I'm sure the guys hauling the grain would go the other way.
Because the gravel really, it's washing out up underneath it really bad. Eventually it's gonna sag. Eventually, it ain't, I mean, it's starting, but it's gonna get bad.
Oh, I know. That's the reason I was asking about
Yeah.
calling people and asking about.
Yeah, that's why I asked Bobby the other day about the grain trucks and stuff, and he said that it wasn't no way, they're gonna have to go out either side to.
So, and I've talked to the state, and they are supposedly, by the end of this week, they're gonna make a decision, but they pretty much said, yes, go ahead, because we're gonna help you. Now, I don't know what that meant,
Will this be some of that 3% money for emergency deal?
could be, I don't know.
Well, and the other thing too that's worth pointing out is one of the conversations about, declaring an emergency to try to expedite it was the material that you would need to fix it, the time frame. I mean, waiting a week or whatever on a bid wouldn't really change the time frame on getting the precast material that you're going to need to do it.
So you just need a motion to approve this
We just
deal?
need a motion and a second to approve authorizing to advertise for the bid for this project.
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeffrey and a second by Marty. Any other question or discussion?
But the state said that, I mean, when we declared an emergency like this, can we pull out that emergency fund money?
Well, we didn't declare it an
We
emergency.
didn't declare an emergency, but our contact told me they're reviewing it and that there will be assistance.
Okay.
I don't know what that.
Yeah.
how-
Okay. Whatever, we gotta fix it.
Yeah, we just gotta get it fixed. All right. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is, if y'all recall, every year as we move in toward tax collection season, we authorize increased revenue bond for the sheriff, a 3-month lease where we move that bond. I think last year we moved it to $1 million. And the cost of that is, to move it to the million is $938 plus whatever this Kentucky SC, I don't even know what the SC stands for.
Yeah, I mean, it's some kind of bond, I mean, I don't know if it's a tax, but some kind of attachment to the bond. It's usually only like $20, $30 on top of
So
the
it'll be
bond.
approximately $1,000 to increase this to $1 million for the 3-month period during the height of tax collection season. We would just need a motion and a second to authorize this temporary bond and authorize any signatures that are necessary to effectuate the transaction. Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Jeffrey. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We're gonna bypass number 7 for just a second because a discussion came up yesterday about the sheriff's, I got a fleet truck. Sheriff, what year is that truck?
It's 3 years, I think, 2021 model.
Okay, so the question came up, did we have another department that could get some good use out of that truck rather than us selling it off? We would have to transfer it internally, but the cost that the sheriff would normally get out of the sale would have to be transferred into his line item, so he's not losing that revenue. But the question came up about transferring that truck over to the planning and zoning office and for the building inspector, and then selling off the, was it an Explorer? The Ford Explorer. And there's money there to do it. We would just need a motion and a second to authorize an inter-department transfer. However, how do I need to describe it, Nicole?
I mean, that's, I mean.
Is that how you would describe
yeah.
it? You got, did you make a
I
motion?
got it, yeah.
You got a motion? All right, Myron's made a motion to authorize that transfer of that vehicle.
I'll second it.
And second by Marty. Any other question or discussion?
Yeah, John,
Yeah.
do you haul a lot of stuff in the back of that Explorer?
Not a lot.
The reason I'm asking, do we need to do something about
Like put a lid on it?
a big,
Marty, if I could add, the truck's got a nice cover on it, so
Okay.
that's not a problem. You might allow one additional purchase. That vehicle, when it was bought, it's in great shape, it's really been used. But they took it didn't come with an armrest because it had a police slide in. We found the armrest, I don't know what it would be, $200-300 to put in there to make it a normal truck for it.
that's fine. I was just, if it's got a big,
It's got a nice bed cover.
okay, all right. That answered my question about
Okay.
he'd have a place, so we need to do it and then allow for an armrest to go in it then.
We could pick, if an armrest is a couple $100, we can, I mean, we won't,
We found one at L&W, I don't know if they're charging to give it to us, but if you just allow for that.
I mean, we can pick that up out of a line
Yeah,
without
that's
having to
fine.
do anything, I think.
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't something else he needed before we,
All right, so we got a motion and a second. We hadn't voted yet, have we?
No.
I didn't think so. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, now the fun one. Setting the 2024 tax rates. So, gentlemen, you got the information. You see how the DLG has compensated or calculated the compensating rate, then calculated the compensating plus 4. Obviously, I mean, I guess the reality is we can take any tax rate we want to take. You know, we're currently at 10 cents. We can take the compensating rate, we can take the compensating plus 4, we can keep the rate unchanged, we can make that rate anywhere from where we're at to in between the compensating. We could increase the tax rate from where we're at. Here's the caveats to all of that. The compensating plus 4 would require a public hearing. Anything that we take, any tax rate that we set beyond the compensating plus 4 would require a public hearing and could be subject to a recall vote. But the one thing to bear in mind is when we worked on the fiscal year 24-25 budget, we budgeted at $1,854,000 based on our current tax rate and what we anticipated the growth numbers to be in assessments. And so the compensating rate really generates about $100,000 less in revenue, and compensating plus 4 generates about $44,000 less in revenue than what we budgeted and projected. So,
Well, I've never been one to want to raise taxes,
no,
but I also realize that, they can word it as a compensating plus and all that, but if we keep the tax rate at 10%, we haven't raised taxes. And with, like trying to get we had to, put a little extra on the water meter to get the sheriff's deputies a raise, and we may have to give them a little extra next year because there's still a offset there. We may there's other things nothing's gonna get cheaper. So keeping the tax rate the same, I don't see as anybody's gonna really complain about it. They'd be happy if we'd lower it down, I'm sure, but keeping it the same, I think it's being fair. So we've never done this in 17 years or 18 years, whatever, and, we've never went above the compensating rate plus the 4, but this is, like I said, this is not a tax increase if you keep it at the same rate we got right now.
well, we definitely, to your point, Marty, we're definitely, from a community growth perspective, we're kind of in uncharted waters as far as the cost of everything and what the assessments are, and I don't disagree with you. Leaving it unchanged, you're not raising the tax rate.
Well, I just found out this morning, Nelson was talking to me, OSHA is talking about changing where no fire vehicle can be over 10 years old. If they do that, we would have to replace all but one vehicle at the fire department if that law went through. So, there's things coming that you just don't know
Did you say
about.
air packs, is that what you said?
Huh?
No, fire
Trucks.
Fire trucks.
Every vehicle.
The air packs,
Fed's gonna pay for
air
all
packs
these new
now is
trucks?
another,
Yep.
that's about.
Well, they're in good
$40,000
shape on that, from what he was telling me, their equipment is, but the fire trucks and all that none of them are than 10 years old. So, I don't think that will happen, but there's things like that could be thrown on us.
We spend a lot of money on public safety for this fiscal year, and I would agree that we probably need to leave that rate unchanged.
And we don't know what the economy's gonna do in the future either.
I can tell you after November.
Yes, that is.
And I'm perfectly fine if that's the will of the court. We just need a motion in a second, or I guess if the will of the court is we leave it unchanged. We have an ordinance number here where we can do a first reading on a tax ordinance if we're going to leave the rates unchanged.
I'm fine.
We would have to have then the public hearing prior to the meeting with the second reading.
Correct.
I'm fine with that.
But we can have an ordinance, so what it would be, so real property, personal property would remain unchanged at 10 cents per $100 value. Watercraft, motor vehicle, and aircraft would remain unchanged at 16.1 cents per value. And it would be a first reading of ordinance number 220.259 relating to the levy of real and personal property tax rates for Simpson County for tax year 2024. Are you good with that motion to approve that ordinance?
Yeah, so moved.
So we got a motion by Myron to approve the ordinance, first reading.
I'll second.
Marty with the second. Pam on the ordinance will do a roll call.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Jeffrey Burr,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes.
Now, do we have to set a public hearing date?
We'll have to
Yes.
set the public hearing date.
Probably for the date.
Well, it'll be the meeting of the 17th of September, I believe. Is that the advertising time frame, or are we where we can do it by the 3rd?
What did we say?
But yes, we will have to advertise a public hearing.
I thought we had to set that date today.
We might need to.
You do have to set it today.
Do we have time to advertise it for the 3rd, or do we need to hold it till the 17th?
Yeah, we'd have to wait because
Okay.
it wouldn't be able to be in the paper until
All
the
right.
29th.
So I'll need a motion, because aren't those dates right? 3rd and the 17th is our September meeting dates?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I need a motion and a second then to authorize advertising for a public hearing for 2024 tax rates to be held at 8:30 a.m. in the historic courthouse at 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday, September 17th.
So move.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Myron. Any question or discussion about that?
Well, wait a minute. Have you voted on the first reading of the,
Yeah, we took a roll call.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So all in favor of the public hearing date, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Setting tax is always fun. Next, gentlemen, the budget transfers. If you had an opportunity to look at those, we just need a motion and a second to authorize those budget transfers.
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeffrey,
Second.
second by Marty. Any question, discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is a cash transfer of $150,547 from the general fund to the jail fund. And those are within the, we just started the fiscal year, so it's all budgeted for.
And we should be getting a Class D check anytime.
This is just in case, but here, I need a motion and a second to authorize that cash transfer if necessary.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron,
Second.
second by Jeffrey. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. And finally, the bills and claims. We need a motion and a second to approve the bills and claims as presented.
So move.
Had a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Myron. Any question, discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to reports. I want to make y'all aware, I don't think I brought it up here, but anyway, Sky CTC sent us a real nice thank you letter for our participation in participating on the On Track Scholarship Program. It's where I think it's us, the city, Industrial Authority, Chamber, and Franklin Bank each do $10,000 every year, and it helps the high school students here go through really college-type courses out at Sky while they're in high school. So it's pretty good program. Gentlemen, on the portal in the folder there, this Make My Move packet. This guy reached out. What they work on doing is they try to get people that are wanting to move from where they live to a more peaceful place. I see the look on your face there, Sam. And these are all people that work remotely that can live anywhere in the country. And the state actually has incentives to get these people moved here, because it's not like you're putting up a building and bringing more workers, but here's the deal to it too. So like if someone moves here and they're working remotely and they're receiving a payroll check from their company or corporation they work for, it's subject to our occupational tax. So they would pay it and everything. And we even get to review their profile before we would agree to let them participate in all the state incentives. So I did not know, Sam, was you aware that the state legislature set aside money to do this? I had no idea.
Did not.
It was all,
I'm just.
So we're paying people to come to the state of Kentucky.
basically.
Pretty much.
What's it gonna cost us for this?
I don't really think it cost us anything, other than our time to review a profile, like if we.
I didn't know if there was
and like-
anything
and like
in
the
it.
way the guy explained to me is like, if they send us a profile of a family looking to move, and we're like, well, we don't like the way it looks, we can just say, we don't accept this one.
I didn't know if there was any money cost to,
I don't think so.
What if they say, okay, well, we're still gonna move there?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we can't keep them from moving here, but we can deny them participation in the state incentive.
Oh, okay.
they don't get the perks, of course, they would have to file returns for the
Or our other
occupational
option, our other
tax.
option is that we just let these people know that we're not really interested.
I guess this would have some impact on whether we can control growth. But the reason you got the look on my face is just like, aren't we all looking for a more peaceful place to live?
I'm sitting there thinking the same thing.
Very right. I just wanted to make y'all aware of that. I had no idea that the state legislature set aside money for relocation programs for this type of stuff. I had no idea.
I have no idea.
Then, y'all asked that I would enumerate my concerns about the comp plan. You see them, they're on there. I've got them. Did y'all read through any of that? Do I need to go over any of it? Do y'all need that? Is there anything you need an explanation about? I mean, there's a few things like, they removed the property, what we refer to as the Brown and Adamson property, and those are outside the city limits currently. I understand all the situation that went on with it, but just because it didn't happen at this moment doesn't mean that it's not proper to keep it in as future expansion, so I can't really agree with just pulling that out. And then Chapter 2, future land use, this is the big one for me. It shows the projected growth in residential, commercial, industrial, and mixed use. It goes on to say that it shows 6,920 acres with the potential to be used in those growth areas. It states in this plan that 1,894 of those acres are inside the city limits and the remaining 5,026 acres are adjacent to the city limits and are identified as peripheral growth locations. It doesn't say in there, but this is my belief, that if this plan, I think it should expressly stipulate that the annexation of those acres into the city should be subject to approval by the county, but in no means should it preclude anyone from being able to connect to utilities. Because, and what I'm saying by that is, if you have a development going on and they're wanting, say, city sewer, I mean, like right now, there's subdivision developments happening that's getting city sewer, but they're Warren Rural Electric Power and their Simpson County Water District water, they're only getting city sewer. There are areas right now where we have, well, I know we have 7, I think my count is right, 7 subdivision developments that's outside the city limits. And I know one in particular, maybe 2 of them, it could be 3, but I know one for sure, is on city sewer and water, but it's outside the city limits. And what happens in those areas is those people who live in that subdivision that are on city sewer and water, they just pay a higher rate for their water and sewer than customers inside the city limits. So I don't think that if a developer's buying property outside the city limits and wants to remain outside the city limits, they should be able to do so without being denied utility services if they're willing to pay the higher rate for the utility services. But I think there needs to be some stipulation there, because otherwise you just eat up this whole 6,000 acres and it just becomes city property or city annexed land.
But in most cases, don't the owners of these properties, they're the ones that's asking for it.
They're only asking because the city's telling them they're not going to get services.
So when we get back down to the sewer, the developer will put the sewer in these.
They're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, the city's not going to pay for that. So, I read all what you had here. There's a couple of things, Objective G3 and Objective G5, that I would agree on those 2 particular items there.
Yeah.
When you was talking about, from what I seen, they didn't put the Thornton property out here by West Cedar Market down as potential for subdivision, in the future.
Yeah.
I think that piece of property should be listed on there because it runs right up to Westview High and from 100 over, so I think and from the way I understand it, if they open that book up, somebody wants to buy their property and they open that book up and it's not on there, then they say, no, it can't happen.
Well, I'm still under the impression that the court and the city commission has the authority to change any of these regulations at any time. So, and I would hope that that would be the case. You know, I hope it is.
Well, I would hope it is, but I think, so what an individual would have to do, because what Marty's saying is correct. If you walked into planning and zoning and you looked at something in this plan and they pulled the book open, they would just say, no, you can't do it. So the recourse for that individual would be to come and address the court.
Exactly.
The planning and zoning would not be able to do anything with it at that point.
Right. And of course, this is just, my opinion, is a guideline. I mean, it's not the perfect situation by no means, but it's better than what we have right now, which we don't really have much of a direction.
I'm just sharing with you the concerns that I have.
If we were just saying these are recommendations, I would agree with what you're saying, Myron, but if we pass an ordinance, that's the closest thing as we can do to passing a law.
Yeah, but we can change that.
Yeah,
We
but it's
got the
a
authority
lot
to
harder to
change
change an ordinance once it's,
Pardon me?
it takes a lot more to change an ordinance.
Planning
when
and
it's
zoning
done.
won't have, they won't be the governing body in this, it'll be fiscal court and the city commission.
But this is the ordinance that we have
Yeah.
told them to go by.
Well, the whole thing, of course, most of us have been to all those meetings. And unless somebody wasn't telling the truth, throughout the whole presentation of this, they indicated that this was just guidelines. Which, I understand what you're saying, Marty, but I do know that the court and the commission has the authority to address these things if they don't suit our needs here in our community, you know.
But I go back to, this is basically a city deal. I think if we don't do anything, it just stays within the city limits. In my opinion, that's where it ought to stay.
So they would have planning and zoning, they would have basically two sets of books to go by.
Well, that's already kind of the
I
case.
guess part of it is already anyway.
That's already sort of the case.
I mean, they appointed the members, they hired the firm. We were allowed to go to public meetings. We really didn't have a lot of say into this. The city basically did this whole thing, so I would just the city's already approved it. I just say let it take effect inside the city limits.
But and back to those objectives, you said that G3 and G5, Myron, the reason that I listed those, and I don't know when this will happen, I really don't know, but there will be a time that there will be subdivisions. Well, I mean, we've had a couple of pieces of property outside the city subdivided recently, haven't we? And so technically by that, I mean, because what happens is, if you have a piece of property and you split that property more than 4 ways, you have technically made a subdivision. So you could take that piece of property and split it into 4 tracts and it becomes a minor plat that you're not subjected to subdivision development regulations. But at the minute you split that tract into 5 or more,
Yeah.
it becomes subjected to subdivision development regulations. And I don't know when this point will be. It may not be in my lifetime. I have no idea. But there will be a time that we will see more and more of property bought, subdivision developments done outside the city limits that may be 1 acre tracts everywhere on septic systems because sewer may not be available.
You can go right out to Roark and Cheney Road right now and see it.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. Then the one here talks about, you know, expanding parks all around the county. I think we'd be better served to fix the 3 we have before we start building new ones.
I didn't see anything in there about the water lines. We can't put water lines. We can't put a fire hydrant on Blackjack Road because there's not a big enough water line. And there's, what'd they say, 40-something roads in the county that don't have water main on it?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff should be addressed in this comprehensive plan. But there again, we wasn't allowed to say anything. We were allowed to go to the meetings.
I just need to know, I know the city has requested that we adopt the ordinance with them. I have some concerns. I've shared with you my concerns here. I just need to know, and of course, we're down a
That's what I was
person
gonna say,
today.
why don't we just table it till
Yeah.
Scott gets back and,
What is the time frame, Mason?
Yesterday, day before. I mean, I don't guess really there's
I didn't know
not.
if it was.
Anyway, you've got my concerns. All right, moving on. Myron, you have anything?
Just a comment, where are we at on the clerk's office? It seems like.
Oh,
we're just-
I'm glad you brought that up. We got the completed signed contract back yesterday afternoon, so it's all signed. They're going to go ahead and direct the contractor to start working on ordering materials that we know are going to be some time out. So this week, they will start ordering those materials, and they will start signing their contracts with the subcontractors. So all of that will begin this week.
So you think maybe, I mean, we're missing some good weather for us, ground preparation, so you think.
Especially
maybe-
this week.
Pardon me?
Especially this week.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, I would think surely by mid-September, they're probably ready to get started, I would think.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had that down here and just forgot it. Anything else?
No.
Jeffrey,
no report.
Marty?
I'd say within the next week, people will start seeing farm equipment moving. There'll be corn harvest start probably next week. Just be careful with the farm equipment. And then, like we was talking about that road, you know, that you may have to go a different route in that situation. So you may see something, you may see traffic you hadn't seen before. So just everybody be safe and again, watch the school buses and all that's out there now.
All right. Counselor?
Tax sale for delinquent taxes is next month. It's gonna be up on us sooner than we expect. Once that happens, it costs more and the clock starts ticking towards possible foreclosure. So if you have any delinquent taxes, please make arrangements to pay those. If you wish to try to do some kind of installment plan, you can come by the county attorney's office, but please try to save yourself some money and get it paid.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Clerk? Sheriff? Jailer?
Happy late birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Just another day, Marty, but thank you. I'm dyslexic. I read it backwards, so I'm 35. Anyway, did you get what I said?
I got you.
Okay. Y'all know that DOC is crushing the county jails across the state. And it's not just ours. We're taking a bigger hit than most because what we're used to housing as far as state inmates. We're sitting at about 171 today on the state side. We got 216 or 17 total. So we do have open beds. I hope there's a silver lining about what I'm fixing to tell you, but I'm not going to call out the county, but I've partnered up with another county. It is going to cost some overtime from our deputies and our part-time people. We're going to have to utilize what we can utilize, and some fuel expense. So you will see that in the bills coming. Don't be alarmed. I am getting, probably this week, we will start, but I am getting another county, all the counties in state inmates, because they are transferring they got a federal contract, and so all their states are going out. So I think our numbers are going to pick up pretty quickly and rapid, and we're going to be full. Now, when the state gets a hold of it, I'm just going to tell you, they're going to start pulling like crazy. There's approximately 1,200 open beds in the state prison system right now. They have been opening up wings in prisons that have been closed. they're opening up all the wings and I don't know what's going on, y'all. I just don't know what's going on. I do know what's going on. I don't understand why. But they are filling the prisons up, and it's hurting not just Simpson County. Guys, it's hurting every county across the state. It's like the state inmate plague, I guess you call it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm looking for resources and trying to fill those gaps where we can, when we can, and, offset the burden. So anyway.
Maybe there's less people committing crimes.
What's that?
Maybe there's less people committing crimes.
That's not it.
Okay.
That's not it. And,
Marty,
hey, all joking aside, Sheriff's laughing too.
I'll agree there, that's not it.
That's not it. It's just,
So there's less people getting caught?
you trying to put me on the spot. I know what's going, Sam, you want to answer that?
Not especially.
Okay, see, we don't want to touch that. There is a reason, and
There's
it
less
could,
people being sentenced.
Yes, that's what
you
it is.
said it, I didn't. There you go. But anyway, I just want to give you a heads up of what's going on. I know you ask questions here and there. I try to answer them the best I can. But I don't think that we've just thrown our hands up and we don't care. It's just, it is what it is. It's not that way here in Simpson County. It's not that way with my administration. I'm just telling you, we are looking, and I will tell you this, it pays in the long run to be nice to people, because what happened, we've worked very well with this particular county. They've had a change in their county. They're going a different direction now. I hope it works for them, because I will tell you, although feds pay more and it looks good on paper, they can come in to his facility and say, okay, we want these feds in North Carolina, and they're gone. That's the gamble you take with housing the federals. I don't want to get into that, but we've been good partners with this county, and they haven't forgot it, and we were the first people that they called and said, hey, this is what's happening in my county. I'm letting you know, and as many as you can take, they're going to be on your way. We may have to take some ugly ones. I don't mean facial ugly. We may have to take some less desirable.
Speak for yourself.
Less desirable inmates to get them all. But the way we operate, we can put a package together and ship some out to get rid of those less desirables to fill up with good ones. So anyway, the more desirables, let me say. But anyway, I just wanted y'all to know, didn't mean to take up your time, but just know, me and my staff, we're working, and we're not stopping now. So we're just doing the best we can.
All right. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
I called him the other day. There was somebody had dropped a big pile of trash out
It was
on
taken care of
100.
immediately, wasn't it?
He appreciate you doing that. They went out and cleaned it up, but there was trash blowing everywhere.
Good
Looked
deal.
horrible.
Speaking of that, did y'all hear what Marty said? Did the community hear what you said?
Well, I hope so. I got the microphone.
Okay, well, I want to address our community. I'm being serious. I know Sam stands behind me, Jerry D does too. I feel like him and his officers. If y'all see somebody out throwing trash on the side of the road, please contact me, the sheriff, county attorney, the judge, any magistrates, it doesn't matter. Our community looks good out in the counties, in the city, everywhere. It looks good compared to these other counties, but I'm gonna tell you something, when I drive to work and everything's all pretty, and all of a sudden I see a couch sitting in the ditch, I can't stand that. And yes, I'm venting, but let's work as a community and keep these things cleaned up and notified, because I'm gonna tell you something, it don't take but just a few to get charged, and the word spreads really quick. So
I have no problems prosecuting people for criminal littering, and I've been doing it for 16 years, and I'll keep doing it as long as
Well,
I have this office.
You trying to do everything you can get your numbers up, aren't you?
yeah, Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, this is our town, y'all. It just,
But Eric, it's a good point. The side of the road is not the place to dispose of
Right.
your old mattress or your couch.
Thank you.
And you can be criminally charged if you're caught doing it.
I think what happened on that the other day, somebody had a bag of trash in their truck and it blowed off in the road, and then it was just going everywhere, but.
But
I was
you
just gonna say, I
have
think
it
that-
out, you have it out in your area, you have it in your area, we have it in ours. I'm sure Jeffrey and all y'all have it in your areas, but when you're coming to town and you got a beautiful, freshly mowed, side banks to your road where you can see and everything else, and then all of a sudden there's a couch or a mattress and they throw trash bags out and stuff like that.
Thing of it is, they don't do it when you're watching.
No.
So-
So anyway,
All right.
I'm done, Ben.
Thank you. Bob, would you come and share with us some about FEMA and the dollars that are already coming in and what's happening with all that, please, sir?
I'll try. So, it took a long time to get FEMA into the county for some reason. It took a long time to get the disaster declared, about a little over 60 days to get the president's signature on the declaration. The day after the declaration was signed, I already had two, one person from the state and one person from FEMA in the office talking about our recovery. It was comical a little bit because the person from FEMA was talking about they can give us access to blue tarps and all of these things that you need the first 2 or 3 days after a disaster, 63 days after our disaster. So that was I chuckled at them when they did that. But being resilient and working the program and doing the things that we got to do, I just wanted to give you a quick update. Yesterday, we opened up the Disaster Recovery Center in Simpson County. It's a mobile unit. It'll be here for 7 days. Then it's going to go to a different county for 7 days, another county for 7 more days, and then it'll be back here for 7 more days. So anybody that has any questions about a possible claim or any issues that they're having with paperwork or anything, when that mobile DRC is here, you don't have to have an appointment. They can just go see them, whatever. And they don't have to wait till it's here. They can go when they're in Bowling Green or wherever. They can always go to, you don't have to go to a disaster recovery center in your county if you have a concern. But the numbers that we're getting, the individual assistance program, as of Sunday, we've got 36 applicants that have been approved. They've done 10 inspections of individual houses. Now, the IA program has changed a lot in the last number of years because now FEMA's actually writing checks to individuals to start doing some recovery of their homes. If they've got some specific kinds of damage that they'll approve, they send an inspector in there, get the inspection done, and they're cutting checks in the community right now. So
Where is this disaster recovery unit located?
it's located in the parking lot of the health department.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking, because I failed to say where it was at. And it's open, I believe, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, 7 days a week, when it's there. So, like I said, it got here yesterday, and I think it's going to be here for 7 days. And I think September 9th is when it'll be back for another 7 days. So we've had 36 registrations, 10 inspections issued and completed. They've referred 33 of those to receive some, to determine if they're going to be approved. There's been 3 approvals already, and those 3 approvals, the total accumulated amount for that amount of money funding is $11,642 has been issued to people in Simpson County already from this. That's the individual housing. There's another part of that program that other needs. I think that's probably for people that had major damage to vehicles or other things outside of just their home, and they've issued $5,915 worth of funding to the other needs as well. So a little over $16,000 so far we've received, and that will climb, I'm sure, a little bit as the as the approvals take place. So I just want to give you that quick report. The public assistance side of it, we put the application in last week for PA recovery for infrastructure to recover some of the funds. It costs the public for Public Works to do what they did in recovery and all that. So we'll be gathering that information from Bobby and Nicole and them and getting that put together to get a recovery put together for public assistance. So took a long time to get them here, but once they got here, they wanted everything just like that, which is normal federal FEMA stuff. So it's in the process. So.
All right, thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
John, you have anything? Bill? Nelson? Bobby?
Only thing
You let the sheriff talk back there and didn't make him come up here.
He got a gun.
Yeah.
The only
You
thing
are
I was
bigger
gonna-
than him, though.
Huh?
You are bigger than him, though.
He's still got a gun, I don't.
That's true.
But the only thing I was going to say is Vaughn Road has been closed this week, the through traffic, and we'll probably have it open first of next week. We're doing a tile replacement ourselves in that one, so widen that area a little bit.
All right.
Not that there's that much traffic on it, but.
All right, gentlemen, I do need a motion and a second to entertain executive session under KRS 61.810, paragraph 1C, discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency, and paragraph F, discussion which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee.
So much.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Jeffrey. All in favor, aye.
All right.
All right, we'll meet across the hallway.